in my opinion, crucify me if you feel the need to, but this might be the biggest disappointment I think so far in the game of the new adaptations, the new stuff that they're putting in. The Automaton Tower. I was so hyped for this. Hold on, baby, it's gonna be a long one. What's going on, guys? It is time for the update of the century. This is the big one. It's a biggie. Alright, so first off, we're gonna just go dive straight into it. We got the Alchemist Steeple finally coming into the game, and from what I can see, it seems to be okay. As we know, we're gonna be able to craft charms, materials, and catalysts at the same time. All right, but so we are obviously gonna improve this building, which means they're gonna hopefully give us more Breath of Orbis. We haven't seen any additional Breath of Orbis so far, so that's kind of concerned about that. But they do tell you here these are the 3 separate levels of things. So first, reduce the cost of the gold to craft things. Then they have craft charms by expanding the Alchemist Steeple, craft materials by expanding it, and then craft catalysts. So you actually have to invest Orbis into this if you want to be able to craft charms and catalysts. I only would like the catalysts. I don't really care to craft the charms. You can kind of use other resources for that. And then quality points percentage, which we'll look at that in a second. So as you see, this is the base of it, you know, craft the charms. But like I said, it is good though for the, obviously for the accessories, so you can level up your rings and necklaces. The other way that you were doing that before was in game, and you would use ancient coins to do that, and that was kind of like, I don't know, I found no problem in doing that. I would just do the missions, and I would just keep gathering that. Plus, when you do anything in the labyrinth, you get ancient coins, and that seemed okay to me. But I guess if people want a more quicker way of doing it, then this is what they're getting. So, and here it is. Select the ingredients needed to craft the item. You may not be able to craft if the quality grade is not high enough. So here you can see them trying to craft a charm, a weapon charm, or the standard gear charm. They're throwing in a bunch of unwanted, what? You know, that could have been flat HP right there, flat defense. So they're throwing in a bunch of unwanted things, and they're spending gold, it seems like. So yeah, they're gonna spend gold, and as you can see, the quality over here is very high. Like, this is super good. And boom, we got helm, greater helm, and an epic helm. So that's what he was given for his trials and tribulations of doing that. Obviously, that's pretty good. You know, you take unwanted gear. Currently, what you would do is that people were just selling them. Another thing that people were doing with their unwanted gear was just leveling up the gear. So, like I said, the only real place you would really need this is for the accessories, because technically, when you get these gear, just take this 44s, these 30s, these 15s, and people would just put it into any of the, you know, the respective places. So you want to level up your boots, you will eventually have your boots level 15 if you just take all this crappy gear and just put it in. I'm not too sure like if anyone's going to use it for any of the mighty 4, I should call it, which is the weapon, the helm, the armor, and then the boots. But it's going to be really for rings and necklaces. I also see crafting limits, which is, why? All right, so we got equipment craft. You can do it once a week, and accessory charm once a week. So you're gonna be able to do this once a week. So if it's only once a week, maybe then it's worth it. Then you just do this for your once a week, and then you just leave it be. I still find that really weird. Just seemed weird to me. Just seemed weird. Let me know what you guys think about that. Anyway, next up, select what you want to craft. This is the crafting materials, as we saw. Again, don't really know what this is going to be good for, but it is definitely going to be good for people that cannot do, you know, the higher upper, because English is great. They can't do the higher levels of the hunt, so they'll do the lower ones, and then instead of making crap gear, they will then craft it to make better gear. As you can see, you'll select the ingredients, boom, boom, how much quality are you getting, and then it will make the respective thing. Really good, because like if you can't do a certain thing of hunt, like, oh man, I have no golem team, so I'll just, you know, I can't beat 8, 9, 10, so I'll just do 7 and then take the 7 and make this, you know, whatever. So it's okay. it's okay. Like I said, mostly for people that can't do the higher levels of hunt. And they're also letting you know that you have to actually, in order to do this, you do have to beat the higher levels, like I said. So if you want like Banshee, so you'd have to be Banshee at least level 3 to unlock the recipe for the Bright Essence recipe. So Bright Essence would probably just be this. Well, this is Mana Essence, right? So then you get the next one, then you get the next one, and you get the next one. So even like I was saying, like, oh, Hunt 7. So you need to be able to be Hunt 7 to unlock Hellish Essence. And of course, crafting limits. Each item can be crafted up to 5 times per day. I just don't understand the point of doing limits. Now, this is the catalyst. As you can see, same thing here, guys. It's a rinse and repeat. So the quality grade, depending on what you put into this thing, is going to depend on, you know, this is what he's trying to get, the slime jelly, and then he put in these 3 things and got only 2 because, you know, he was only good, but he wasn't excellent. So just keep that in mind. I do think that this might slow down the guild giving you stuff, because people are gonna then say, well, I want an epic catalyst, so I'm not gonna give my guild anything, you know, unless this is your account, you know. I'm not gonna give my guild anything because I want some epic catalysts, and I'll just save up my materials so I can then make epic catalysts. So be careful in the guilds, guys. Probably the asking for these regular catalysts is gonna definitely go down lower, because people are gonna say, well, I'll just save my little ones, my what are they even called, my rare catalysts, and I will just save them so I can craft these epic ones. Because we'll see down here we go. So as you can see, quality for a rare one, normal, good, epic, right? You need 30, 60, 80 points, and you'll get 1, 2 to 3, or 3 to 4, right? But epic catalyst, however, normal, good, epic, 60, 120, 160, 1, 2, and then 3. So this seems like the best. Obviously, if you need an epic catalyst for whatever reason the gods have designed that you need it, you're just gonna go make this and get 3 of them. Why would you even bother doing anything else? So at this point, you're probably just gonna save all your things. Why give it to a guildmate? What do you get, 2? I think you get 2, and you can only trade for other rares, when you can save all your crappy rares that you don't want and then get 3, you know, depending on how the grading system works, obviously. Below are the quality points required for each catalyst. So rare is 10, epic is 40. So that's like, I'm assuming that's the minimum. Crafting limits, if you're doing a rare, it's once per day, and again, if you want to do epic, it's once per week. So you get 3 per week, which would be the optimal, because if you're only doing it once a week, you might as well go for optimal than to sit there and go and do this for the 1. But you know, to each his own. But for me, I'm gonna try to see how much it takes to do this. How much is it gonna take to get the 160? How much of a hassle is it? Steel Workshop improvements, looks like it's just mostly UI, and you know, changing the amount that it costs to actually get these things. But here is the Grand Mama Sama. Now this might be, in my opinion, crucify me if you feel the need to, but this might be the biggest disappointment, I think, so far in the game, of the new adaptations, the new stuff that they're putting in. The Automaton Tower. I was so hyped for this. So it's going to come out on the 1st. It's a monthly thing. Cool thing here, look, you can use stigma leaves to actually weaken the monsters on the stage. Very cool, because everyone has a billion stigma leaves, and this will probably be done pretty much all the time, or at the very least, this is going to be done, you know, when you're struggling on a stage. You probably won't do it on every floor because that seems stupid. But at the same time, you can also see that you can't use guardians. That's not what I'm disappointed about. That actually makes it harder, you know, like, so you can't, there's no Arky saving that ass every 2 seconds. So, you know, now you're gonna have to use your soul burns very smartly, very smart, and that's cool, right? There goes the rewards. You can see that he's like, oh, I need to weaken them. Cool. Stigma leaves, cool. Now, players are only able to weaken monsters from floor 1 to floor 90. Monster weakening is not available for 91 to 100. So they let you use it all the way up to floor 90, but after that, you are screwed. And I respect that. So, you know, they don't want you cheesing this, which is fine. Again, this is fine. Also, I skimmed over it that these floors, each floor has two stages. Sorry, I skimmed over that. See right there. Each floor has 2 stages. So nothing too crazy. And if it's like the Abyss, the first floor is gonna look like something like this, like nothing too crazy. And then the second thing is gonna be rough. My problem is this right here. You can obtain main rewards every 10 floors. Look at these rewards, guys. They are trash. Okay, so it's similar to what I think in Summoner's War, when you beat the final floor, you were pretty much given a, you know, light and dark scroll, if I'm not mistaken. So yes, here on floor 100, you're able to get a moonlight summon, right? Which in my opinion is just not that good. I just don't. I think I think if they were gonna do something like this epic reward, you know, that it would at least have been something more juicy, you know, just, or maybe even something brand new, like that gave you a 4-star moonlight, you know, because depending on how hard it is, you know. But at the current moment, you're gonna, at the end of this, right, as far as hard wanted things, people want leaves, right? So you're gonna get 4 of them, 4 leaves when you finish this. You're gonna get 5 Molagors. I think that at least there should have been 10. And if I'm being even fair, at least 8. Because 8 is 2 Molagoragos or whatever the hell they're called, and then you would have been able to craft 2 of them. Or just gave you those in addition to these, because those are more important. I would take out leaves. I know some people would hate me for saying that. I would take out leaves and just add some more Molagors, and then maybe even here Molagoragos. And then maybe here just a bunch of them. And like, this is cool, nice, but I think that's the only thing that goes. All these charms just seem really shitty. Like, it just it just seems so shitty. As I just mentioned earlier in the video, you can pretty much get, like, leveling up anything. Like, these are all, as you can see, rings and accessories, rings and necklace, rings and neck. But they just added a way to craft these charms, and also you already had a way to craft these charms with ancient coins. So the feeling of having to go to the thing, this thing that resets monthly, and that's the only thing that you're getting from it, just does not, it seems very lackluster. I think that this needs to be rethought 100%. These rewards, in my opinion, are not good, not that good. And if you guys disagree, please let me know. Sound off, you know, be respectful in your words. But I think that these are highly not that, like, it doesn't, like, I was like, yeah, I don't feel like I want to really dive into this, because as you can see here, this costs stamina. So I don't know if it's 5 each stage, but if it's, let's say if you're doing, you know, you're a master among masters, right, and you're going from floor 1 all the way to floor 100, 5 stamina each stage, that's 500 stamina. And that's a lot, you know, because we only have a limit, I think, of like 100 something. So you definitely can't do it every day, you know, on top of everything else. You have to play a little bit, put it away. But if it's in Epic 7's fashion, it's very likely that the stamina cost is going to go up as the floors go up. And again, it's going to make it to the point where people aren't going to really want to do it. Yes, I know that if you fail, you probably don't lose the stamina like other games, like Knights Chronicle has that. Even if you fail, you'll lose the stamina. This game usually doesn't do that, which is very nice. Overhit doesn't do that either. If you fail, you don't lose the stamina. Really nice. Awesome mechanic. But it still will take the stamina once you succeed it, and I feel like these rewards just don't live up to it. I don't understand or why they thought that this was, like, these should have been like catalyst things. Epic catalyst, maybe these are rare catalyst drops, and I mean, you know, some people won't like that either, but just stuff that just wasn't already obtainable or easily obtainable in the game. I just feel like these are literally 40 or 80, or I don't even know how much it is, ancient coins. That's what these are. These aren't really obtainable, right? So these are kind of okay, but you're just gonna level up gear, and if you guys know, we're just leveling up gear, and depending on the roles that the gear might not even be that good, and you might just throw it away depending on how frequent you farm actual hunts. So you can say like, oh, I farm hunt so much that I don't have to settle for this crappy gear. I can actually throw it away and then give it up to the steeple or whatever. So that's all I'm gonna say about it. I'm just slightly just disappointed on the rewards. Of course, they got the rankings, and this is gonna be for all the whales, and they're gonna have people, hey guys, I was first, and you know, I'm sure people are gonna love that. You know, who got there first, who were the first 100, and you know, that's gonna be great YouTube content, because I'm pretty sure the big YouTubers are definitely going to be trying to see if they can get it. It's fun. It's actually pretty thrilling. If you think you have the units to do so, you wait for the day reset, and once it resets on the first, you go right out the gate. But like I said, depending on stamina, you might get held up and then you can't beat it. So it's going to be interesting to see who wins first. It's definitely going to be someone that has a lot of built units already, and of course a lot of stamina, because like I said, if it costs 5 every floor at the minimum, that is 500 stamina. And if, like I said, I'm definitely predicting that it probably will go up. I'm not 100% sure about that. Next up, they're champion Zarato, which has already been in the game. So I'm just gonna go over him here. I'm not usually, I do separate videos for this because he's been in there, but I just don't give a fuck about him to do that. I'd rather just put him in this video. So Zarato attacks the enemy with an earthen blast, transferring 1 debuff from the caster to the enemy. Man stole Corvus's swag. Second is a passive. He cannot be stunned or sleep. It has an 80% chance, and if you level up, 100% chance to counterattack when attacked while debuffed. So that's actually pretty good. So if he has a debuff, he can't be stunned or sleep, which I think are currently the only ways to immobilize a target. So if he is, I guess, just burned, you know, burned or bleeding, then he has a high chance to counterattack. And the counterattack is then to give that debuff to the person, which is still pretty good. You know, that's pretty good, but still so far not like something game-breakingly crazy, because like I said, he's only going to be able to transfer bleeding, poison, and burn. He's going to transfer those things. And oh yeah, yes, attack break, slows, defense break, he will transfer those over to those people. So it's pretty good. And then he has the S3 Cataclysm. Attack all enemies by slamming rocks with a 60% chance to decrease defense and attack for 2 turns. So now we have an AoE defense breaker. Damn, Lulu, they didn't give her any chance to shine. AoE defense breaker, and on top of that, attack breaker. 60% chance going up to 75% chance. And then you can consume it with 20 souls, and then make it, you know, ignore effective resistance, which means that whatever effective resistance they have is completely irrelevant. So this guy seems, with that, he's definitely good. But of course, we got to see his stats, his actual speed, and then we'll see how good he is. I can look it up now, but there's so much to go over. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but at least his kit's good. Kisei drop rate's coming up, so sorry guys, no new characters. Kisei's gonna say, hey, I know you love me. Do you want me in here? So I definitely will summon a little bit for Kisei myself, but I'm not going to go too hard in the paint. She's a really good character, but she's very PvP focused, and obviously really good for Wyvern, but that is about the extent I think I've seen of Kisei. But hey, who knows what she might be good in the tower. Maybe there's stuff that you need to reset, single target reset on a relatively low cooldown, and not everyone has judged Kisei, so fuck you. Anyway, next up is going to be a challenger event, the Eber Storm. We don't care about any of this, so let's just go down to what this lovely thing is. It is a really good warrior artifact, and it has a 35% chance going up to 70% chance when it's maxed, which you will max it because it is a challenger artifact. You will dispel 1 debuff when attacked. I think they already have something like this in the game. I forgot the name of it. It's a 3-star artifact, but it's a obviously 3-star, so anyone can have it. So this one is 70%, and so when you get attacked, you will strip the buff. Really good for warriors, and you'll see like Ravi's update will be really good on her. Any like kind of sustainy, tanky kind of person, like I would actually like this on like Dark Corvus, because that's the only thing that prevents certain warriors from like really popping off, is them just getting stunned. So if you want to take out their Uberous Tooth, this overwhelming DPS BS, and say, hey, I'm going to play it on the smart side, the safe side, and I'm going to go with something that will cleanse them, which if you think about it, can be activated once per turn, right? So again, I hate these because it doesn't say once, you know, at the end of the caster's turn. Or is it one of those things where it is every person's individual turn? I'm assuming it's the latter. It's every of the caster's turn. So let's say you get hit with the good old ML Araminta special. You got 3 burns or 2 burns and a stun. You cleanse the 1 burn, and I think he would need a turn, and then you can cleanse the other stuff, which is kind of unfortunate, but at least, you know, he can still cleanse, you know, when the AoE defense break, you know, and then he gets hit, and then they'll cleanse the defense break, and that seems pretty good to me. Story journal update and UI improvements. So they're just improving the way that the journal works. This looks really cool. And then of course they're also improving, you know, the actual ability to like look into, well, here is it, sorry. You know, this looks better. It's a little bit more clean. That's when you're in the journal. And now they're doing stuff where you can actually play back videos. Yes, so good. It's getting closer to what I really want. And this is also pretty cool, right? You can now like have a character with a specific background. I feel like that's just really good for YouTubers and thumbnails. You can be like, hey guys, let me show you my character in a certain background, and then you can like kind of like make your own like pretty much thumbnail. I don't see what other people would really use that for. It's like the YouTube update. Now we're in part 2, which is a lot about the hero balancing in the game. Now we already went through most of this, so I'm not gonna then say it again. There's no purpose. But one really important thing, Assassin's Coley changes have not been added. We sincerely ask for your understanding regarding this. There was some thing where people were saying that it's actually not that good, so maybe they're holding back the Coley changes. I don't think that Cigarettes is the same. I feel like this one was slightly altered a little bit. So now here, it's kind of weird. I'm a little bit on the fence about this. So she has the S2 smash, and she hits you 100% chance to make them unhealable and cause bleeding. When the enemy's health is 50%, the S1 would trigger, right? So that's what happened. But now it's a 50% chance to inflict bleed and make them unhealable for 2 turns. So now it's now you 50% for that to happen. But when the enemy's health is 50%, it will trigger the S1, but instead of this 50%, it will guarantee the bleed. The reason why I find that a little bit weird is because a lot of times you would just throw the S2 out first, and then you would use that as your bleed catalyst, like to throw bleeds down on the character. So it just feels weird that they would change that. So yes, once the character gets below 50%, then that's cool, but the rest of her kit is synergized around bleeds being there. And if this is 50% and this is 50%, now you just kind of nerfed her ability to bleed, in my opinion. It just seems really weird. Meanwhile, Sordin, I think her bleeds, there's no chance for them to land. They just have it. They'll just probably just land, right? So they did, but then you get this crazy good buff on the S3, the guillotine, where instead of it penetrates defense by 5% for each debuff, it just has a base of 30s. Now she pierces 30% of your defense on jump and 5% for each debuff inflicted on the enemy. She looks like she's gonna have a little bit trouble putting debuffs on, not gonna lie. But when she's awakened, then this 5% then goes to 10%, which is actually crazy. So just imagine 2 debuffs on the enemy, she's piercing 50%. That is a lot of defense pierce right there, just for having that. And if there's a defense break amongst those debuffs, then that's even more than 50% defense penetration. So that's really good, but how's she gonna get these debuffs on them? 50% is relatively low. If you guys know, Baiken's percentage is like 80 something, and even then she sometimes doesn't land it. These percentages really ruin these characters because they are so reliant on debuffs. I feel like they should not have these percentages. I think dots, any like kind of dots, should really have like 100% chance to land, because they don't really mess up too much. If anything, you want to make something hard to land, make it like poison. Poison is like really good, and it really only affects PvE, so it would make it harder for people to complete content if you made poison guaranteed. But I would say for like bleeds, just make them land, because it just makes characters more consistent. And I think that that's more important than, you know, oh, I don't want them to land bleeds because it'd be too strong. Like, yeah, but without them landing bleeds, they're literally worthless in the team comp. So yeah, Corvus thing is pretty cool. It's the same, but he looks like he's gonna be so much better. Like, he pretty much, as long as he can get his S3 off, he can literally loop it infinitely over and over and over again. His S1 is going to be a stun that is legitimate, a stun. Like there's no chance, again, no chance on it, which makes it very strong. He will most likely stun you. And his Mesa rate, which is his S2, is going to be taking a lot of combat readiness from you. And he also gets 10 fighting spirit. Every time he gets attacked or attacks, he's getting fighting spirit. Corvus is actually going to be really good. Really, really, really good. And especially with the new Crimson Seed, again, now you have a chance to have this guy not really be affected by debuffs, by him having a way to cleanse them himself. So I think that that's really, really destructively nice. And I think Corvus got a nice needed buff, but again, not many people have him because they either fed him to Dark Corvus or they just been foddering him off because they don't like the character. This one's also pretty good, the Cartuja one. He gets a defense buff now, and also his AoE HP scaling hit now does more damage if he's half health, which is the whole purpose of him. Now you have a really good HP scaling AoE move similar to like CC, but of course I'll have to see how much it scales and how much this increase is when he's half HP. And then of course he heals himself for half his max HP, so he's pretty much gonna heal for a shit ton, and he'll also get a defense, which will make it harder for him to get, you know, low like that again. This is huge though. This is huge. Gotta bring this up. Is Wind Rider is being changed and it's gonna be available for recall. And I was like, wait, what did they do? Ladies and gentlemen, an issue that caused Wind Rider to provide an attack increase the turn an enemy was killed instead of providing the increase the following turn has been fixed. How in the actual was this an issue? Nani? What are you talking about? I'm so pissed about that. But Vildred was so good because he would get a kill with his S1 or S3, and then immediately he would do his S2, and then it would kind of count towards that. I feel like also for Sez is another good example. He would S3 or something like that, and then he would get that attack increase, and then it would make his the aftermath of his S3 better, or he'll S1 and then his S2 would trigger. It just seemed fair. I don't see what was the big chance, and now you can recall this thing and it's like, why? I just don't. I feel like it was very unnecessary to do that. If you want to fix it, like, fix time matters. fix a 5-star artifact that actually needs some help, and like this is considered a nerf because it is. And it's a very slight nerf, but it just seems so weird because obviously a lot of other thieves don't have these second, what they like to call like additional extra attacks. They don't have these extra attack mechanisms. So it just seemed really weird, like that they would just attack the Wind Rider for that when it really wasn't making any like crazy thing. RNL is more of a problem than Wind Rider ever will be. So. And I should look this up on YouTube. An issue where after attacking an enemy using a non-attack skill, Soul Bad Guy's passive skill Volcanic Viper is activated, causing him to attack a team member. Yeah, you might want to fix that. I found it interesting. They haven't dropped Lilibeth for whatever her name is, but they're already making sure there are monsters that are immune to her bullshit already in the game, making sure, you know, before she comes in. And that is it for this patch update. Let me know what you guys think about it. What did you like? What did you didn't like? So disappointed with the tower. I really was hoping for better way to get Mologoras and a better way to get Catalysts and things of that nature. Something that people would really want to go for. But since it's just so charm based, it just seems that, especially not artifact charm based, which actually blows my mind. Why not artifact charms? Those are hard to get, but not really. You can also spend other resources for those too. But anyway, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.